Right, so when we're cleaning these, so I've already taken it out and set aside this Amber's slide and specimen cube, specimen box. We know that this corresponds to that one. It's the only specimen we have out when we're working around this area. So, you know, for sure, we always know that there's going to be one empty box, and it's 436 in this case. So what we do is we use these magnifying lenses, and we sort of keep an eye on the resin piece, see if there's any sort of fractures or any, you know, places where the resin could be compromised, and really try to work around that and be as gentle as possible. In doing so, you know, we can spot if there's any pieces of dust, which we'll sort of wipe off with this lens paper. Another thing that we've done in the past is also use this bulb and lightly sort of blew air onto the specimen itself, and that removes a little bit of dust too. So once this is wiped down and, you know, inspected and made sure, like, you know, it's in reasonable condition, then we simply drop it into its corresponding cube. So this starts with 436. We just took out 436, so 436 is going to go into the 436 slot. And this 436 number is actually the one associated with the UCMP number. So this specimen is actually UCMP 401751. But yeah, based on this sort of numbering system we have, this is always going to be associated with that, even though we're not actually directly using this number. And that's the beauty of it. And I continue down the line. So I'll cover this up just to avoid more dust. We'll go to 437. Dump this out. All right, so that's the next one we work with. It's the only one that's out, so we always know it's going to be 437. And if we do get mixed up, we can just easily peek inside of here. We see 436 is already in its spot, so this must be 437 or 438. 438 has a piece of has a specimen associated with it already, so we already know it's 437. So this is just another easy way. So say if you do lose track, which hasn't happened yet, it's just another measure, so that way you can easily and accurately deduce which piece is which, without actually having to deal with, again, these individual UCMP numbers, which would be a pain as opposed to just a 3-digit number in a set of 3. So yeah, we just give it a little bit of a wipe, sort of look at it a little bit, make sure it's structurally sound enough to work with and manipulate, and then after that, we just drop it into its 437 spot. This is 436, 437, 438. Cover it back up and move on to the next piece. Here's 438. Set these aside. Have a look at it. All right. So this one looks pretty nice. It doesn't look like it's going to break on me. So then I can just give it a little bit of a wipe. It wasn't very dusty either. And we have a little lamp here too, just to make it a little easier for us to see. And then I put it in its box. And that's it for this first box. However, we're going to be working with a set of 3. So what I do is I put this aside. So these numbers and this color is done. It's already associated with this 1-unit tray. And now I'll use blue for the next one. So we always know, you know, we're not going to get these 3 mixed up with these 3. So yeah, and then I put this into a 2-embed box, which is right here, and cover it just so, you know, lessen the dust risk again, and then start on this one, and it's the same sort of step. So I ended on 438. I'm just going to arbitrarily say if I want to do 439 next. I could have chose 500 if I wanted to, but this is just the process that we've chosen. We decided to do it this way, where we're always increasing. So even though the numbers are getting bigger, and technically we would be increasing the number of digits, we're never going to reach, you know, there's not enough specimen in here to reach 6 digits. So it's always going to be much more simplified. And also we don't want to we don't want to go back and set the clock. We initially just thought about just going up to 100 and then restarting it at 0 to 1, or restarting it at 1 again and counting back up. But we thought it would just be safer just to do this. If we're always increasing, we know we're not going to mix up new numbers with old numbers and things like that. So with this system, so long as we're always increasing, we shouldn't have any mix-ups. But also, based on our workflow, we usually get rid of numbers pretty quickly, and in doing so, that lessens the risk even if we do overlap. But also, yeah, having different colors too, that's also helpful. So say if someone didn't communicate and they also did a set of 436s, or 436, 437, 438, if they did it in pink, we can still distinguish between the two. So yeah, it sort of is risk management there. A little bit better if we just didn't do it to begin with, but we're being careful with the numbers already, and so yeah, that hasn't happened, but it's engineered in there so that way we can sort of protect ourselves if it does. But yeah, I'm going to start with this one using from 439. Let's see, 439 through 441. And this is going to be inside of its own unit tray.